Sigh of Incredulity. In perpetuity I puff out a sigh, a theatrical why oh why beneath the sky. The universe yawns, the planets pout, while wandering stars whisper, "What's this about?" I stack my suspicions in cupboards of doubt, with jars full of maybes that tumble about. I polish my pennies of puzzling lore, tiny tin treasures I question once more. Each wild declaration arrives with a cheer, with trumpet twirling turtles that suddenly appear. It marches in proudly with glittering flair, then trips on its ego and falls through the air. Logic ties shoelaces woven from noodles, then stumbles on thoughts shaped like tiny poodles. Facts wear spectacles, adjusting their view, blink twice and wonder, could this be true? Time taps its watch with a mischievous grin. Another round? Shall we begin? The clocks start chuckling, the calendars sing. Same silly circus with a different ring. Forever strolls in a courteous parade, wearing a wig and a wobbling charade. Promises pirouette, spinning so bright, while reality whispers, not quite right. I clap one slow clap for dramatic display, a tiny applause for the curious day. Reality bows with a theatrical plea, then sends back a bill for absurdity. So here I remain, amused and bemused, a little bewildered but never confused, not angry or bitter, not ready to cry, just seasoning doubt with a sprinkle of sigh. For some things are buttered with too much belief. Some tales wear tuxedos while hiding beneath. When nonsense arrives with a confident face, I simply laugh and give truth its place. A whimsical sigh, a curious cry, a giggle disguised as a grand goodbye. Beneath the moon's mischievous silver glow, I smile at the madness that dances below. But just as I turn to exit the scene, a courier appeared on a unicycle green. He bowed with a clipboard and paperwork tall, then handed me charges from nowhere at all. "Dear citizen of doubt," the envelope read, "your disbelief tax has now been spread. For every sigh and skeptical glance, you owe a fee for your doubtful dance." I opened the bill with a curious stare. 1,000 small charges for breathing the air. At the bottom, an elegant bureaucratic hue. Processing fees added for questioning too. I sighed once softly, then sighed once again, then sighed at the sigh that escaped from my pen. I whispered naturally to the bureaucratic sky, for even a sigh must comply to comply. The universe stamped my receipt with a grin. "Congratulations, your nonsense begins." For disbelief itself, in a marvelous twist, has a membership card that cannot be missed. So I carry my receipt through eternity's hall, the strangest small document known to us all. And whenever absurdity floats through the sky, I pay my small fee with a wonderful sigh. A deep dive into the poem. The speaker in the poem inhabits a world that refuses to make ordinary sense, and the poem itself becomes a quiet, extended meditation on what it means to live inside that refusal. Written in a lightly theatrical, almost nursery rhyme cadence, the piece can be read as a comic allegory of perpetual skepticism, a satire of bureaucratic intrusion into private thought, and a gentle philosophical stance toward the absurd. What follows is a sincere, layered reading of its possible meanings. At the surface, the poem traces a single emotional posture, the long, theatrical sigh. From the opening lines, the speaker does not rage or despair. He or she simply exhales again and again beneath a sky that itself seems weary. The universe yawns, the planets pout, the wandering stars ask what the fuss is about. This personification turns the cosmos into a slightly bored theater company, and the speaker's sigh becomes both audience reaction and participant performance. The act of sighing is therefore never merely personal. It is a ritual response to a universe that keeps staging the same inconclusive play. The middle sections deepen the portrait of doubt. Suspicions are stacked in cupboards, maybes stored in jars that rattle and spill. Pennies of puzzling lore are polished and questioned once more. Here, the poem can be interpreted as a defense of intellectual humility. Wild declarations arrive with trumpet-twirling turtles and glittering flare, images of spectacle and self-importance, only to trip on their own ego and fall through the air. Logic is shown tying shoelaces made of noodles. Facts adjust to spectacles and wonder whether they themselves are reliable. These comic failures suggest that certainty is often a costume, and that the more confidently a claim marches forward, the more likely it is to stumble. Time itself joins the mockery, tapping its watch and inviting another round of the same circus under a slightly different ring. Forever strolls past in a wig and a wobbling charade, promises pirouette, while reality whispers that they are not quite right. The cumulative effect is a portrait of existence as an endless, slightly ridiculous review in which belief is always overdressed and truth arrives late, if at all. Yet, the speaker refuses bitterness. One slow clap is offered for the dramatic display. Reality bows with a theatrical plea, and then presents a bill for the absurdity. The speaker remains amused and bemused, but never confused, seasoning doubt with a sprinkle of sigh. This stance can be read as a quiet ethics of response. When nonsense appears wearing a tuxedo of confidence, the proper reply is neither anger nor surrender, but a soft, sustained laughter that still insists on giving truth its place. The poem therefore models a form of emotional equilibrium, curious, lightly bewildered, yet fundamentally at peace with uncertainty. The decisive turn arrives with the courier on the green unicycle. A clipboard and a tall stack of paperwork announce that disbelief itself has been taxed. Every sigh, every skeptical glance, every moment of questioning now carries a fee, complete with processing charges for the act of wondering. The envelope addresses the speaker as Dear Citizen of Doubt, converting an interior disposition into a taxable civic status. The speaker opens the bill, sighs again, and accepts the charge with a calm naturally. Even the sigh must comply. The universe stamps the receipt with a grin and congratulates the speaker on the official beginning of nonsense. From this point forward, the speaker carries the strangest small document known, membership in the club of perpetual questioning, and pays the fee whenever absurdity floats by, always with another wonderful sigh. Several interpretations open from this final movement. One reading sees a satire of modern administrative overreach. The state or the culture or the marketplace has grown so total that even private skepticism becomes an itemized expense. Another reading treats the tax as a metaphor for the social and psychological costs of critical thinking, ostracism, mental fatigue, the simple weariness of never being able to rest in easy belief. A third, more philosophical register hears an echo of the absurd. One cannot step outside the circus. The very act of noticing its absurdity is already ticketed and charged. Yet the poem's tone never darkens into tragedy. The receipt is carried through eternity's hall not as a burden but as a curious souvenir. The final image is therefore neither defeat nor rebellion, but a continuing, almost affectionate participation. The fee is paid. the sigh is given, and the dance of madness continues beneath the moon's mischievous silver glow. Taken as a whole, the poem can be understood as an invitation to remain lightly awake inside a world that will never stop performing. It suggests that doubt is both necessary and faintly comic, that truth is worth defending without becoming solemn about the defense, and that the cost of clear sight, whatever form that cost may take, is best met with another soft, theatrical, and ultimately joyful exhalation.